By the time this video hopefully comes out, MatPat will have officially retired from the Theorist channels, leaving the new host to carry on his legacy. I've already expressed in a previous video how MatPat's retirement is a great loss for all of us that grew up with his era of YouTube. But I think it's important to add how it's also an indication that we won't ever bear witness to a similar age of the internet ever again, but rather only the decline of it. To explain what I mean, we need to hop onto the Wayback Machine and take a look at YouTube's landscape in the 2010s. It goes without saying that things were a lot simpler, which allowed people to just goof around and do whatever while also being able to garner an audience of fans that admired the creator for their authentic self. Then came the wave of the Viner invasion, as MatPat put it himself.
And then Gen 4 was the Viner invasion. The Viner invasion symbolized the first influx of creators who grew up with YouTube as a thing that could be achieved. And so you had a generation of very smart, very savvy creators who grew up watching you, who grew up watching these vloggers and these viral videos and seeing, wow, look at all the views they're getting. Wow, look at all the money they must be making.
As such, it started to become increasingly obvious that newer creators started popping up on the platform with the intention to make money or grow their brand. Now, this in itself was no issue, as it is indeed possible to combine a job with a genuine passion of yours. But the trouble started to arise when creators felt as though they needed to one-up each other in order to get the most views on a piece of content. With that, the rest is history. Companies started pouring money into branded content, and that was followed by the Mr. Beastification of YouTube. All of this is to say that the game had clearly changed. However, we still had the original pioneers of the platform still doing what they did best, either with their previous styles or something entirely new that revolutionized the platform. However, continuous competition breeds the death of creativity, and with the new and different changes and implementations on YouTube's behalf regarding how the platform worked, whether that be through shorts or otherwise, a lot of creators started to feel burnt out in having to always play catch up in order to stay relevant.
For as much as I love you, and I love overthinking things, and I love theorizing, I don't love late nights. I don't love the fact that Steph and I have been work first for over a decade, where I'm sitting down at dinner with my best friend, and we're talking about business logistics.
Once again citing MatPat for this, that's basically a major factor for why he and many creators alike are stepping down. What that means is that not only will the age of the sole creator not be returning anytime soon, but from this point on we will only proceed to lose more cherished YouTubers down the line.
I'm like, well, I want to do a TikTok here and a scary videos here and then a horror game and then like a 2-hour God of War, and they were like, you're splitting your audience way too much, like you need to focus in on one thing and then just do that, because having so many different versions of content means the algorithm doesn't know what to serve to people, which means you're going to get lower views. And that's like the saddest thing of all to me, because the whole point of starting a channel is so that you can do whatever you want. I have to like overthink my content now. I feel like a lot of the reason a lot of YouTubers of that generation and that are doing it for that long are leaving is because everything's changed so much.
There's parts of old YouTube that I miss, but there's parts where I'm glad that the platform is evolving, but it's not evolving necessarily in the way that I would like it to be. I think it's gotten like too commercial and stuff like that. And
it's hard to talk about because a lot of it is like from our perspective. So it's hard to say, I don't like where this shift is going, because that's not taking in YouTube as a whole as like a legitimate business.
I think Sean and Ethan's thoughts perfectly encapsulate my previous statement. It's undeniably getting harder and harder to create content that you enjoy without overthinking how it'll be received by the algorithm. Sure, we certainly have seen cases where creators can post whatever they want, such as PewDiePie or iDubbbz, but that's only after they essentially retired from doing YouTube full time. Compare that to the plethora of random shitposts that we'd see in 2014, and it's clear how that wouldn't be possible anymore for an active channel. And I think that's the duality of the situation. For any OG creator that stayed active up until this point, it's become incredibly taxing to do what you love as a job on YouTube. So you either buckle down and shift your brand identity, or retire and upload whenever you want to instead of feeling like you need to. Jacksepticeye is basically doing that already without specifically saying so. Markiplier is as well, but for completely different reasons, of course. Ethan is actively putting in the effort for his channel and seeing the fruits of his labor, but like he said himself, it is getting harder. And it's not something that can healthily be maintained forever. I don't think it is much of a reach to say that there will come a time when all these people realize it's time to move on. If anything, I think that time is not too far off given how they're already financially stable and how the climate of YouTube is currently shifting even further. Similar to MatPat, they might have some other cooler projects they might try out, but their reign on this platform won't be the same, and honestly, that's a good thing. As mentioned before, competition really does breed the death of creativity. With this new cycle that YouTube has created, it's only possible to break out of it if the most famous creators on this site step out of their comfort zone. If enough influential people stop feeding the algorithm what it wants, we might just see a resurgence of the golden age of YouTube, because at that point the algorithm will have to shift to what it has as opposed to what it needs. But given how creators need to, I don't know, not starve, I think that reality is a bit far out of our reach, at least for now. And that's why I truly believe that the age of a creator going viral simply for being themselves is over. This has been Vexodus, and see ya.